All right, today we're going to talk about mooring balls in the British Virgin Islands. We're going to talk about the BoatyBall application. And we're going to talk about some tips and tricks. So you're going to want to stick around to the end. My name is Ty, and our goal is to help you stay connected. Okay, so what is a mooring ball? A mooring ball is something you tie your boat off to. If you're watching this, you probably know what a mooring ball is. But what you might not know is in the British Virgin Islands how most of these are set up. And most of the mooring balls that are in the BoatyBall program are set up using a seafloor anchor. These look like large augers that are drilled down into the seafloor. Many times they'll stack multiple sections together. So these are driven down into the seafloor 15, 20 feet in many cases. From there, there's usually what we call an upline. The upline comes up and it's attached to a float. That float keeps the line from getting tangled on anything on the bottom of the seafloor. It helps protect seagrass. It helps protect the coral. And that is usually made out of some type of rope that is coming up off of the seafloor anchor up to the float. And then from the float, there's usually a chain that goes up through the mooring ball, which is the actual float that you see on top of the water. For the BoatyBall moorings, these a lot of times are orange, sometimes they're white, and you'll also see other moorings in the British Virgin Islands. Yellow ones are usually your dive moorings, and red ones are your national park moorings. The chain comes up through the mooring ball, and then there's a pennant, a line that comes off of the top of the mooring, and that's what you attach your boat to. We'll do a separate video on how to attach your vessel to a mooring ball appropriately, because we see a lot of crazy things when we're down in the islands. Okay, before we move on, you should always dive your mooring ball. After all, you do not know who was on that mooring ball the night before or even hours before. The most common issue that we see on damaged mooring balls in the British Virgin Islands are the pennant lines. These are the lines coming off the top of the mooring that you tie to. It's also the most obvious place to see an issue. If that is shredded in any way, you don't want to tie up to it. Contact us, notify us. If you see an issue, we can take the mooring out of commission. If you do find yourself in that unfortunate situation where your boat's tied up backwards to a mooring ball with your prop wrapped around that pennant, notify your charter company. This can do damage to the boat. It can cause some leaking that puts you and future charter guests at risk. So you want to notify them. You also want to notify us or the mooring ball owner so we can check that pennant, make sure that it's safe for somebody else. If we need to replace it, we can replace it. If we need to take the mooring out of commission, we can take it out of commission so somebody else doesn't tie up to it. But you always want to dive your mooring ball. The most common areas other than the pennant are the connection sites. So it's where the chain connects to the rope, where the rope connects to your seafloor anchor. So you want to check those connections really well whenever you're checking your mooring ball. When you're checking your mooring ball, if you do see something that's concerning, please let us know. You can contact us by email, you can text us, you can call us. You can also notify the local mooring ball owner that's usually there in the bay. What we'll do is we'll notify More Secure, who we've partnered with in the British Virgin Islands. More Secure is a company that has been installing and maintaining mooring balls in the British Virgin Islands for over 30 years. They will come out, they can check the mooring, they can replace any damaged equipment with other equipment that meets the proper specifications of the mooring ball. Each one of these mooring balls have been engineered specifically to hold a certain tonnage, and they need to be, equipment needs to be replaced with the appropriate material in order to meet those specs. We've got a partnership with More Secure, and they are the ones who maintain the moorings. Which brings me to another point. Every mooring that is in the BoatyBall program is in a full-time maintenance program. We strongly feel that this is important to keep all boaters safe. Unfortunately, most moorings throughout the world are not in a full-time maintenance program. and it leads to mistrust of mooring balls. And so we feel strongly that every mooring should be in a full-time maintenance program. Everyone that's in the BoatyBall program is in a full-time maintenance program. It does not, however, mean that you will not have an issue. And so that is the reason why we still highly recommend diving your mooring. And if you see something, let us know. Together, we can help try to keep everybody safe out there. So if you see something, if you damage a mooring, it happens to the best of us, let us know so we can keep everybody protected. The easiest way to contact us is to go to our website at BoatyBall.com, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see where you can, our contact information. The fastest way to get in touch with us is to text us at 919-473-6054. Okay, so now let's talk about BoatyBall. Some of you out there absolutely hate me, and others of you out there, I wouldn't say love me, but can appreciate what we're trying to do with BoatyBall. So regardless of where you're at, if you're trying to set up a BoatyBall account, I want to walk you through kind of setting up an account and some of the things you might actually see different as we add some new features for this upcoming season. So the easiest way to set up your account is to go to BoatyBall.com, select the boater application, and once you get to the boater application, you're going to want to go to the sign up form. You're going to fill out the relevant information, and then you're going to hit submit. You'll receive an email that you need to validate. Once you've validated that email, you can then go back and log in and set up your profile within BoatyBall. If for some reason you don't get the validation email, check your junk mail. Sometimes the validation email will go to junk. Sometimes it'll get blocked by your server. A lot of times if you're using a company email address, the email server will block outside emails like BoatyBall from coming in. We tend to not have issues with Gmail or iCloud email accounts. Or if you're like me and you're old and you have a Yahoo account, those tend to work as well. Once you've signed up, then you need to set up your profile. Before you can reserve a mooring through the system or pay for a mooring in the system, you need to have a current boat in your profile. And you can do this by selecting the three little lines in the top right of the application. We call this the hamburger icon. You click on that and then you'll see profile in blue. You select profile. You scroll down a little bit and you'll see where you can add a boat. You can also edit your boat, but you first add your boat information and then hit submit. Once you've hit submit, you should see the word current in blue underneath your boat name. If you don't, select the three little dots to the right of your boat name, check the dates, or just check the word current. Once you're done editing your boat information, make sure that you hit submit. This will save any changes that you might have made. You are now ready to reserve and pay for moorings in the BoatyBall application. If you want to speed up the checkout and payment process, you can also save payment information under your profile. Simply scroll down the page on your profile and you'll see the add payment icon. All right, now that you have your profile set up, you're finally ready to use the BoatyBall application. You're going to notice that there's three different types of moorings in the boater application. The first one, and this one's new to many of you, is a yellow mooring ball with a D in the middle of it. You're going to have the blue first come first served moorings. You're going to have the orange reservable moorings that turn gray once they've been reserved. So let's circle back around to the yellow moorings in the application. So these are over some of the more popular dive sites in the British Virgin Islands. These are dive sites that were created by an organization called Beyond the Reef. Beyond the Reef is a great organization in the British Virgin Islands that helps keep our waters clean and helps create some of these unique dive locations. We've partnered with Beyond the Reef to help raise money and awareness about these dive sites, but also to help raise money to teach local children how to swim. So if you do use one of these yellow moorings, we ask that you consider donating $5 per diver. 100% of the proceeds go to Beyond the Reef. Beyond the Reef uses those proceeds to teach local children how to swim. This initiative that BoatyBall is excited to work with Beyond the Reef with, and we hope this is something that each of you will get behind and support and appreciate the efforts that we're trying to do here. You can pay as many times as you would like. We ask that you'll consider doing $5 per diver, but you can hit that pay button as many times as you feel comfortable doing. BoatyBall also has first come, first serve moorings in the application. These appear blue with the FC in the middle of the icon on the BoatyBall application. In real life in the bay, these are white moorings with a blue stripe around them with an orange BoatyBall sticker. These are exactly what they sound like. They are first come, first serve. So in order to use these moorings, you go to the bay that you're looking to go to. You see if there's a mooring available. If so, you tie up to it. Once you've tied up to the mooring, then you can pay for it. As you go to pay for it, it is going to ask for confirmation that you're tied up to the mooring ball and that you agree that once you leave the mooring ball, that mooring ball is now available for another vessel. You hit agree and then you pay. Finally, you have reservable moorings. These moorings become available every morning at 7 a.m. and they're for the same evening. The reservable moorings appear orange in the application and they turn gray once they've been reserved. Once you select your orange mooring, you want to hit reserve as quickly as you can. Once you hit reserve, that mooring belongs to you for 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes to pay for the mooring. If you do not pay for the mooring within 4 minutes, it goes back on the market and is available for somebody else. These moorings are check-in, check-out at noon each day. We only allow each account to reserve 1 mooring per night. Now, if you're old like me, and by the time you get to the mooring field, you have forgotten which mooring ball that you reserved, it's very easy to go back into the application and confirm your reservation. One, after you reserve, you'll get a red flag at the mooring ball that you reserved. Another way you can go and check is by going back up to the hamburger screen, the 3 lines in the top right, and looking at payments, and you'll see your most recent payments. You can also use this if somebody comes by and questions whether or not you've actually paid for the mooring. You will also receive 2 emails when you purchase a mooring. One will be a receipt, so you can use that as confirmation if somebody asks if you've paid for a mooring. Another one will be a welcome message. And in that welcome message, many of the local businesses will provide information such as happy hour or any specials that they're offering. So make sure that you check those emails when they're sent out to you. Okay, so now you know how to reserve and pay for a mooring in the BoatyBall boater application. But before we finish up, I promised you I'd share some tips and tricks. So one of the most common questions we get is there an app for BoatyBall? And the short answer is no. There's not a traditional app that you go to the App Store on your iPhone and download. However, there is a way to download the BoatyBall icon onto your iPhone home screen, and it'll bring you directly to the boater application, very similar to an app that you would download. You can also do this with Android, but the process is just a little bit different. So quickly, I'll walk you through how to do this with your iPhone. So you're going to go to BoatyBall.com, then you're going to select the boater application. And now that you're on the boater application, you're going to go down to the bottom of your screen, and you're going to see the box with the little arrow pointing out of the top of it. You're going to select that. This is the same icon you would use to forward a website address to a friend or text it to someone. But if you scroll down, you'll see an option to add to home screen. When you click add to home screen, it's going to add the BoatyBall Boater application icon to your iPhone home screen. Now moving forward, all you have to do is click on that icon and it'll bring you directly to the application. Another tip is to choose a mooring in the middle of the mooring field. The moorings on the periphery of the mooring field tend to go first, and there's the highest demand. So during the busy season, when it's not unusual for us to have 80 to 90 reservations within the first 30 seconds, if you're trying to click on a mooring on the periphery of the mooring field, you're competing with a lot more people than if you try to click on a mooring that's in the middle of the mooring field. All right, the final tip, and then we'll wrap things up. The final tip is if you're not able to get a mooring at 7 o'clock, wait until 7:04. Remember, once you've reserved a mooring, you have 4 minutes to pay for it. It's not uncommon for somebody to reserve a mooring and then decide for one reason or another not to pay for it. So we have multiple moorings come available every morning at 7:04, 7:05 that you can scoop up if you're patient and you wait. If you don't get one at 7 and you don't get one at 7:04, reach out to us at BoatyBall. You can send us an email, you can send us a text. Let us know where you're trying to go. And if we have a cancellation during the day, we'll let you know. I hope this video was helpful. And if you've got questions or comments, please post them down below. Thank you.